Well, the whole behaving badly thing, and again, those of you who've read the book, what behaving badly means in our society is when a child's behavior doesn't please adults. You know, you guys, or I might act in a way that doesn't please you, but you can't really do anything about it except walk away from it. You know, children have no power. Children are not protected, they have no power. So if we don't like the way they're acting, it's the powerful imposing will on the powerless. I mean, essentially, that's what we're talking about. And we do it in different kinds of ways. We say, oh, they have some sort of diagnosis, you know, but is there really even any evidence that that diagnosis exists? I mean, all of my work, as you can probably tell, is about children's advocacy. It's about the idea that just because you're not 18, you have as many rights as a human being on this planet as your parents do, or your teachers do, or you know, the Prime Minister does.
I've noticed that there's a lot of intolerance nowadays towards children. People expect them to get one, but
yeah, in the other way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. How do we combat that?
One of the things that's very real, and I do talk about this in the book, is that if you decide to raise your children in a non-traditional way, it's harder. I mean, you're going to have to sort of struggle with the existing structures because there's ways that they're not going to fit in. You know, I mean, the most simple example of this is that I would encourage people to raise children to believe in themselves and to speak their mind and to have their voice and to honor their perspectives. Again, that's easy for me to say. The teacher might not feel that that's so cool. You know, might not like that as much as I like it. So if you believe that's a way you want to raise your child and that's a value you want to inculcate in your child, then yeah, you're probably going to get more calls from the school saying, you know, I told the whole class to do this and my child said why. Or I told the whole class to do this and my child said no.
You're saying traditional parenting. What do you classify as traditional parenting? Are you talking about back in the 40s where it was the child seen, not heard, or are you talking about, you know, the respect and the rules, the manners and everything like that?
That's a great question. I don't feel hurt, but the question is, I keep saying traditional parenting, and the question kind of is, okay, what do you mean? You know, what are you talking about, traditional parenting? I guess, of course, it's not one thing. There's many facets, but I guess if I had to say one quick thing that comes into my mind, it's the whole idea of conditional acceptance of our children. The whole idea that our children are either good or bad. The whole idea that if they do stuff that pleases us, we reward them, and if they do stuff that doesn't please us, we don't reward them. I think that's the thing that makes us feel insecure as adults, that makes us worry about what other people think. You know, the idea that everything about me is conditional. And if you think about it, we wouldn't put it this way, but we withdraw love from our kids. You know, our child comes home with a report card, and the report card has, you know, all great marks on it. And we say, oh, you're so wonderful, I'm so proud, and we hug them and say, let's go out and get ice cream, you're the greatest kid who ever lived. The very next semester, the child comes home with a report card that has all failing marks, and we might say something like, you know, I'm very disappointed, or go to your room. Well, it's the same human being. It's the exact same human being. And what is that person learning? That person is learning that their esteem or lack of esteem, love or lack of love, acceptance or lack of acceptance is not about them. It's about this piece of paper. And I mean, I think when you look at a society where so many people are, you know, taking antidepressants and taking anti-anxiety drugs and, you know, having interpersonal problems, I think it's because we do that conditional acceptance with ourselves. The reason I'm worried about the title of the book is I don't want people thinking, oh, what have I done wrong? You know, what can I do better? Don't we think that way? It's so deep in our heads that we are so used to thinking that way. You know, like we don't have like a steady belief in our own value. It's all, not all, but it's often based a lot or disproportionately on what we get from other people. So we feel self-conscious and insecure and all those other kinds of things. So my idea would be, in that scenario that I gave, in non-traditional parenting, that we would value and esteem and interact with our child exactly the same way, no matter what it says on the report card.